Amazing transformation. Little girl discovers unexpected power of a hug for young homeless woman. The sun hung low in the autumn sky, casting a warm glow over New York City as 8-year-old Lily skipped down the bustling street, her heart beaming with kindness, just as her mother had taught her. Today, however, the vibrant chaos of honking taxis and hurried pedestrians felt different. As she turned a corner, her bright blue backpack bouncing rhythmically with each skip, something in an alley caught her eye. A woman hunched over, small and frail, clinging to a tattered blanket, seemed to exist in a world far removed from the lively street. Lily felt an unexpected pull toward the woman. Maybe it was the weariness etched on her face, or perhaps it was the profound sadness she sensed beneath the surface. As Lily approached, she noticed the woman's dark circles and tired hands, the ragged edges of her blanket fluttering softly in the wind. When their eyes met, Lily's heart soared, and she instinctively smiled, a gesture she hoped would bring some comfort. "Hi. I'm Lily," she chirped, her voice tinged with bright innocence. The woman looked up, hesitating, her expression shifting from skepticism to cautious curiosity. As Emily began to speak, sharing fragments of her life filled with art, dreams crushed by circumstance, Lily's chest tightened. How could someone with such vibrant hopes end up curled on the concrete, fighting invisible battles? The stark contrast of her own safe home filled her with unease. How could she help? Determined to ease Emily's pain yet overwhelmed with uncertainty, Lily began small acts of kindness. Sharing her lunch sandwiches felt sweet, yet hollow. She watched as Emily accepted them bittersweetly, knowing food wasn't the cure for loneliness that plagued her spirit. Every time Lily saw her, the ache in her heart deepened, and a nagging doubt crept in. Was she truly able to make a difference, or was she just a child playing at kindness while remaining clueless about the depth of Emily's struggles? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Throughout their encounters, the reality of Emily's past lurked ominously, intensifying Lily's inner turmoil. Once, while watching Emily sketch in a nearby park, the sight tugged at her heartstrings. If only there were a way to transform Emily's pain into something beautiful. But how? Lily longed to do something, to erase Emily's despair with just one gesture. At the same time, a pang of fear gripped her. What if she couldn't help? What if her hug, her warmth, couldn't heal the raw wounds of another soul? In her naive thinking, love could conquer all, yet the world around her showed otherwise. As autumn's chills set in, Lily felt the weight of expectation sharpen. One evening, she approached Emily again, gathering courage but acutely aware of the societal judgments creeping in. "Can I give you a hug?" she ventured, her voice a soft tremor. The question hung thick in the air. Would Emily understand the power of that small gesture, or would life's harsh realities fracture their developing bond? Standing at the brink of uncertainty, Lily watched Emily grapple with her history. The simplicity of a hug felt monumental. Could it possibly break through the walls the world had built around them? The city buzzed relentlessly, but all Lily could focus on was the small battle before her, leaving her heart racing with an urgency that demanded resolution. Time slowed as they faced each other, uncertainty thickening the air. Could love transcend the ache of the past? Lily stood frozen in front of Emily, her small heart pounding like a drum in her chest. A million thoughts whirled through her mind, battling each other for dominance. She felt brave for even asking to give a hug, yet fear of rejection gnawed at her insides. What if Emily brushed her off? What if the hug wasn't enough? Emily, eyes filled with a cocktail of uncertainty and resignation, glanced around the alley, searching for something, perhaps reassurance, or a fleeting spark of hope. Lily held her ground, her innocent gaze unwavering, silently pleading with the woman to let her in. "Please," she whispered, extending her arms as if they possessed the magic to summon courage. The air tightened around them, wrapping them in an invisible bubble charged with anticipation. Slowly, Emily's defenses began to crumble. With a cautious breath, she leaned forward, wrapping her arms around the little girl. The moment felt electric, as though the walls separating their lives were momentarily breached. Lily felt warmth flood through her as she squeezed tightly, pouring out all the compassion her young heart could muster. For that brief instant, it wasn't about worries, pasts, or futures. It was just a simple embrace, the most powerful form of connection. As they stood there, Lily could feel something shift within Emily. The rigidness of her body softened, she began to weep silently, and the tears fell freely onto Lily's small shoulder. The weight of loneliness began to lift, if only for a moment, and in that space, a tiny seed of understanding blossomed between them. Yet, when they pulled apart, questions arose like shadows again. Had her hug really made a difference? Emily's tear-streaked face bore the marks of years of hardship. As much as Lily wished to be the hero in this story, she knew the challenges ahead were far larger than either of them could face alone. Lily stepped back, watching Emily meticulously wipe her tears, caught in a web of emotions. "I wish I could help more," she said with a tremor in her voice. It felt inadequate to simply wish for change, but that was all she had in her arsenal. Those words ignited something deep within her, a determination to find a way. Lily pondered not only what more she could do but also how she could transform her fear into strength. She noticed a sketchbook tucked under Emily's blanket. Curiosity overcame her hesitance as she reached out slowly, her fingers brushing against its worn edges. "Can I see your drawings?" she asked, a flicker of excitement dancing in her voice. In that instant, Lily realized, art had the power to express what words often couldn't. It became clear that Emily's pain had already found a voice, yet remained hidden under layers of despair. This small moment of inquiry opened new avenues of exploration. Perhaps they could use art as a way to heal. But just as she was about to delve deeper, she was confronted by her own limitation. How could a child steer someone through the complexities of such deep emotional scars? Doubt washed over her again, but beneath it simmered a new conviction. Empowering Emily meant uncovering more than just kindness. It meant digging deeper, navigating the raw territories of pain together. With her heart still racing, Lily made a decision. "I want to help you show your art to the world. It can tell your story." Each word infused with urgency felt like a lifeline not just for Emily, but for herself as well. The sun continued its descent, the golden light slowly dimming around them, and with each passing moment, the weight of the challenge grew heavier. Could they truly share their stories, intertwining their lives through the worlds created by each stroke of Emily's pencil? Uncertainty loomed large, yet as Lily felt the spark of potential, she knew the journey had just begun. What lay ahead was fraught with obstacles and unknowns, yet she could already sense the tides of change stirring deep within her. No longer bound by just the weight of her own innocence, she realized that even the smallest voices could resonate far beyond themselves. The moment had arrived for a new kind of bravery, one that would require her to step firmly into the unknown. As the evening shadows lengthened, Lily caught a glimpse of Emily's sparkling eyes, igniting a resolve within her. The heart of the city was waiting to be touched, one story at a time. And as they both leaned into this new venture, the question lingered: could the power of their shared experiences create a ripple strong enough to challenge the very fabric of despair? The night air grew cooler, wrapping itself around Lily as she stood with Emily, a budding artist hidden beneath layers of grief. She could sense the tension of their shared silence, both uncertain about the next steps but driven by an urgency that transcended their age difference. Their conversation had cracked open a door, revealing the fragile beauty of hope yet to unfold. "What if we create something together?" Lily suggested, the idea spilling forth before she had a chance to second-guess herself. "We could use your sketches and write stories about them." As she spoke, her mind began racing with vivid possibilities. The words flowed, this could be their way out of darkness. Emily's gaze shifted, hesitant at first. "You really think my art is worth showing?" There was a vulnerability underlying her question, a lifetime of self-doubt etched into her features. Lily's heart ached at the fragility of Emily's spirit, yet a fierce determination began to burn within her. "Of course. Your drawings can show so much. It's like a secret language." A surprising steadiness radiated from her voice. Lily drew closer, narrowing their emotional distance. She could see Emily start to contemplate the idea, a flicker of excitement replacing the shadows in her eyes. What if it doesn't connect with anyone? Emily whispered, the darkness creeping back into her tone. She searched Lily's face for reassurance, desperately clinging to the flickering flame of hope. Then we keep trying until it does, Lily replied, emboldened by her own conviction. This is our story now, together. You bring your art, and I'll help with the words. The boldness carved out a path forward, a route that led not just to artistic expression, but to healing. As she spoke, Lily felt something shift within herself, a recognition of her capacity for genuine influence. Moments passed as they stood together, the weight of the world pressing heavily on their shoulders. The shadows thickened, symbolizing the deep-seated fears they carried. But with each word exchanged, they began to unravel the tangled strings of despair. It was a soft revolution built on vulnerability. Okay, Emily murmured at last, a fragile resolve weaving through her voice. Let us do it. The decision felt monumental, and as Lily beamed at her newfound ally, a sense of purpose blossomed inside her. They weren't just two disconnected beings anymore. This project had the potential to weave their stories into a tapestry of resilience. But Lily's confidence was a double-edged sword. She worried if she could actually help Emily navigate this artistic terrain. She envisioned herself guiding Emily, encouraging her to transform the deeply personal pain into creations that resonated with others. Yet that vision also held a grand responsibility. Could she shoulder the weight of Emily's unspoken traumas? Would her unwavering support be enough for the journey ahead? Tentative excitement turned to an invigorating challenge. The delicate dance between mentorship and childlike innocence would demand everything from her patience, her empathy, her creative instinct. But there was grit in her determination. Every challenge only served to solidify her resolve. As they sat in the gathering darkness, the potential of their collaboration washed over them like a wave, promising a cleansing of their weary souls. We'll start tomorrow, Lily declared, the urgency in her tone wrapping around her words like a rope binding them to their plans. But just as the resolute ideas began shaping in Lily's mind, doubt crept back in, threatening to cloud her newfound clarity. What if Emily didn't trust her enough to share the depths of her pain? Would their project evoke more wounds than healing? The evening shadows deepened around them, echoing the uncertainties that loomed overhead. The path ahead was uncharted and filled with questions, and as Lily contemplated their next move, the challenge pulsed like an unsteady heartbeat. Could they truly unearth Emily's stories from the depths of her despair, or would they get lost in the maze of unexpressed fears? Only time would reveal what awaited them on this artistic odyssey, and Lily felt the weight of anticipation settling deeper into her bones. Yet one thought lingered, simmering just beneath the surface. Was she prepared to confront the depths of their shared vulnerabilities and fight for a light that might never come? Morning light timidly broke through the clouds, a soft glow that hinted at the possibilities of a new day. Lily awoke with her heart racing, thoughts of her promised collaboration swirling in her mind like leaves caught in a brisk autumn wind. She dressed quickly, excitement spurring her movements, but a heavy trepidation lingered beneath her enthusiasm. What would this day bring? The weight of responsibility loomed over her, whispering unsettling doubts. She was on the brink of something significant, yet doubt intertwined with hope. Would Emily truly open up? Would she share her life through her art, and would it resonate? The questions nagged at her insides, each one heavier than the last. As the sun settled higher, Lily made her way to the small cafe where they had decided to meet. The familiar scent of brewing coffee enveloped her, grounding her in the present moment. She ordered a cappuccino, then took a seat near the window, allowing the sunlight to warm her face. It wasn't just about nurturing Emily's potential, it was also about her own growth. The realization hit her. She stood at the precipice of becoming something more than she had ever imagined. When Emily arrived, her demeanor was noticeably brighter. Clutching a sketchbook to her chest, she seemed to radiate cautious excitement. Lily greeted her with a wide smile, buoyed by the sight. Their conversation flowed easily at first, but soon the undercurrents of fear surfaced again. Emily hesitated, her fingers fidgeting with the corner of the sketchbook. Lily, sensing the shift, leaned closer. What's on your mind? I am not sure where to start, Emily said, her voice wavering. The air thickened between them, the cafe noises fading into a distant hum. Let us begin with what you love. Show me a sketch, Lily urged. Just one, let it speak for you. The silence stretched, each moment heavy with unvoiced uncertainty. Slowly, Emily opened her sketchbook and turned it toward Lily. A delicate drawing of a small bird, its wings poised as if ready to take flight, filled the page. Lily's heart swelled. This is beautiful. What does it mean to you? Emily bit her lip, a flicker of vulnerability crossing her features. It's about freedom. I feel trapped sometimes, you know? Like I'm watching the world go by but I can't join it. Lily's resolve deepened. Emily was voicing feelings she had kept hidden for far too long. What if we write about that feeling? We can weave your art and story together. This could be our starting point. As the words tumbled from her mouth, Lily also began to confront the fragments of her own self-doubt. She had spoken with authority, yet did she even know how to help someone navigate such profound emotions? Would she be strong enough to support Emily while grappling with her own insecurities? I don't know if I can dig deep enough, Emily murmured, her eyes darting away. Maybe you don't have to do it all at once. Let us take it step by step. Lily's steady voice calmed the storm brewing within her. What if I write a short story based on your drawing? We can build from there. After a moment, a fragile smile broke on Emily's face, genuine yet tentative. I like that idea. The spark of collaboration reignited the air around them, yet beneath that enthusiasm, a figment of fear lingered. Every word exchanged was a tentative step into unknown territories, places where pain and creation intertwined. As they began to brainstorm potential narratives, Lily felt a weight lift, satisfied by putting thoughts into action. But then, a new fear gnawed at her. The deeper they delved into Emily's emotions, would the darkness consume them, or would they find a way to emerge on the other side stronger than before? The sun, now fully risen, cast vibrant reflections on the cafe window, illuminating their sketches and notes scattered before them. A sense of urgency thrummed in Lily's chest. They were creators in a dance with vivid possibilities, but as they dipped their toes into the relentless tide of vulnerabilities, would they sink or find the strength to resonate beyond themselves? The murmur of the cafe faded into a background hum, a soft ambience that cocooned Lily and Emily in their world of creativity. As they spent the next hour brainstorming, Lily's anxiety began to ebb, and her instinct to foster a genuine connection took precedence. She realized this was a pivotal moment not just for Emily, but for her as well. Let us make it more personal, Lily suggested, the words flowing now, fueled by a newfound confidence. Your bird, it represents your desire for freedom, yes? So, let us explore what freedom means to you. What chains are holding you down? Emily's brow furrowed, and she turned her gaze to the sketchbook, pondering deeply. Lily watched her, struck by the vulnerability etched into her friend's features. There was a fierce beauty in someone willing to confront their fears, and Lily felt a rush of admiration. Perhaps if she could guide Emily through this, she could clarify her own path as well. Maybe it's my fear of judgment, Emily finally admitted, breaking the silence that swelled with unasked questions. I'm afraid to share my art because I think people will laugh or dismiss it. Every time I draw, I wonder if I'm good enough to be seen. Lily's heart sank at that. She realized their conversations were reflections of her own inner turmoil. The fear of being inadequate gnawed at her as well. Could she genuinely help Emily while feeling like a fraud herself? The revelation brought fresh clarity. This journey was not just about Emily's artistic aspirations, it was a shared quest for courage, a challenge to step beyond self-imposed boundaries. Who says we have to conform to someone else's standards? Your art is uniquely yours. It's a piece of you, Lily said, her voice unwavering. Let us strip away the fear and just create. Who cares about what others think? What matters is the story you want to tell. As she spoke, the atmosphere changed. What had once been heavy with trepidation now felt charged with possibility. Emily's expression softened, the earlier hesitance replaced by a flicker of determination. That spark ignited something inside Lily. If Emily could summon the courage to face her fears, so could she. They continued to brainstorm ideas, drawing inspiration from the depths of their vulnerability. With each suggestion, they pushed boundaries, questioning their assumptions. Emily even shared a childhood story, nestled deep within her heart, about her own battle with feeling invisible. "It used to consume me," she confessed. "I thought if I was quiet enough, maybe people would just leave me alone." Lily leaned in, intrigued. "But now you've started to find your voice in art. You're beginning to emerge from that shell. Isn't that the first step towards freedom?" The two women verbalized their fears, sharing pieces of their lives as if they were laying down sacred offerings. In that moment, they realized this collaboration was about more than just art. It was about creating a safe space for vulnerability to thrive. With newfound momentum, they sketched out a plan. Emily would pen her thoughts, while Lily would translate them into a visual narrative, an intertwining of art and story that breathed life into their collaboration. The foundation had been established, and they were ready to dig deeper. As they prepared to leave the cafe, the urgency that had ignited within Lily began to evolve into a fierce determination. The moment felt fragile yet powerful, a pivotal juncture where they could either retreat into their fears or embrace the uncertainty ahead. Stepping into the crisp air, Lily was struck by a startling thought. Could this project not only transform Emily but profoundly change her as well? Every step away from the cafe was laden with the thrill of what was to come. As they parted, Lily's heart raced. The journey ahead was daunting, yet among the depths of shared insights lay a promise. They would face the looming shadows together, a duo on their paths to personal freedom. But as she turned to leave, one question lingered: what if revealing their truths unearthed wounds they weren't ready to confront? The night air was crisp, and as Lily walked through the streets, she felt an unfamiliar warmth blossoming within her chest. It was not just the thrill of creative potential, it was the realization that she had tapped into something profoundly transformative. With every step, the gravity of her fears seemed to lighten, but shadows lingered on the edges of her consciousness. Would her vulnerability truly lead to growth, or would it end in discomfort, exposing her to judgment in a merciless world? As the moonlight illuminated the path ahead, Lily began to reflect deeply on what she had unearthed within herself. She thought of Emily's admission, the rawness of those unguarded words. Could she embrace her own truths with the same courage? The idea of diving into her own artistic endeavors, a passion she had long buried beneath layers of self-doubt, made her stomach turn. Yet, there was an inherent urge to reclaim a part of her that had been dormant for too long. In that moment, Lily decided she would sketch a piece, a manifestation of their brainstorming session. It would encapsulate the essence of freedom, the chains that bind and the wings that propel. She hurried home, her pulse racing with the need to create. The familiar constraints of her studio felt like a sanctuary as she gathered her supplies. Each tool seemed to whisper promises of liberation, each blank canvas inviting her to fill it without fear of scrutiny. The sound of pencils scraping against paper filled the room as she let her intuition flow. With every outline, her anxieties began to unravel. Yet, amidst the frenzy of creativity, nagging thoughts clawed back. What if no one appreciated her work? What if she failed? Confronting those voices became a task of its own. "You don't create for them," she murmured to herself, channeling the words she had shared with Emily. "This is for you." The mantra became a lifeline, pulling her away from self-sabotaging spirals and towards self-affirmation. Hours drifted by, and she lost herself in the rhythm of creation. Shapes formed and colors danced across the canvas, and Lily felt as if she was peeling back layers of herself, shedding the cocoon of doubt. She began to realize that the act of creation was also an act of self-acceptance. By staying true to her vision, she opened herself to deeper connections not only with her art but with the world around her. As dawn approached, the first hints of light seeped into her studio, illuminating her work. What started as an exploration of Emily's journey had unfurled into a vibrant tapestry of her own battles. It was an ode to resilience, a vivid declaration of independence. With this realization came a flicker of fear, a reminder that sharing this piece would mean stepping onto a stage she had long avoided. All at once, elation and apprehension intertwined. The idea of unveiling her work surged within her, igniting a new fire. She considered bringing the completed piece to their next meeting, yet the fear of judgment clawed once more. What if it didn't resonate with Emily? What if it fell flat, failing to capture the shared essence they had unearthed together? In that moment of hesitation, Lily faced a crossroads. Could she challenge herself to be seen, to risk her own vulnerability for connection? The thought hung tantalizingly in the air, potent with the promise of growth, or perhaps, the sting of rejection. Determined to push through, she gathered herself, taking a deep breath. The canvas stood before her, illuminated by the first rays of daylight, reflecting the intensity of her internal struggle. It was time to decide, would she bring her truth to the light, or retreat into obscurity? As she made a choice, she could feel the weight of expectation within her shift, an awakening on the horizon. The moment loomed larger than life. What if this was the moment she chose to reclaim her voice, bold and unyielding? With a surge of resolve, she picked up the brush again, her heart pounding with both fear and fierce determination. It was time to embrace the unknown. What new depths would she discover when faced with the courage to share her truth? As the sun stretched its golden rays across the horizon, illuminating her latest creation, Lily felt an electrifying charge in the air. Pride surged through her veins, mixing with a palpable tension. This was not simply about art, this was about destiny, unveiling the essence of who she truly was. Yet, the thrill was tempered by uncertainty. She had poured pieces of herself into the canvas, vulnerable, raw aspects she had long held captive. The duality of her excitement and dread wrestled within her. She pushed the thoughts aside, focusing instead on the emotion that radiated from her art. It was meant to be shared, not hidden away. The weight of unspoken truths could not anchor her to the past any longer. Deciding to take the plunge, Lily meticulously prepared for their upcoming meeting. She resisted the urge to overthink her presentation, reminding herself of the importance of authenticity. If she was going to challenge herself in her work, she needed to lead by example in her interactions. The thought of Emily's reaction brought both anticipation and dread. What if her art didn't resonate? Would it reflect poorly on her? The question spun a web around her thoughts, but she meticulously dismantled them, choosing to hold on to hope instead. On the day of their meeting, she recalled their first collaboration, the tentative steps they took toward artistic freedom. Emily's willingness to expose her own struggles had instilled a courage within Lily that was now blossoming. She wanted her artwork to convey everything they had discussed, every shimmering moment of vulnerability that had propelled their conversations. Arriving at the cafe, her heart raced with possibilities. Seated together, Lily shifted in her chair, trying to mask her nerves behind a smile. Emily greeted her, concern etched on her face as she picked up on Lily's internal tumult. "You okay?" she asked, tilting her head, an invitation to share the weight of her heart. Lily hesitated, the visual of her completed piece lingering at the edge of her consciousness. "I've been working on something," she finally confessed, the words escaping her lips like a breath freed from confinement. "What is it?" Emily leaned closer, her curiosity sparking a flicker of warmth in the pit of Lily's stomach. With an unexpected surge of boldness, Lily pulled out her sketchbook. Hands trembling, she opened it to reveal the vibrant canvas that captured her essence. She held her breath, watching as Emily's eyes danced over the colors and textures, absorbing every detail. The anticipation felt insurmountable. "What do you think?" Lily's voice came out in a whisper, the question laced with trepidation. Emily's reaction was immediate. "This is incredible," she exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. It's freedom." For the first time, Lily felt the sharp edge of her fear transform into an exhilarating sensation of validation. She expanded on the concepts that inspired her piece, revealing the depths of thought and feeling entwined within the strokes of paint. With each word, she began to weave a connection not only to Emily but to herself. She shared her fears, the remnants of self-doubt that had lingered even as she painted, the notion of vulnerability becoming a unifying thread. Their conversation deepened, the creative sparks igniting even further. Shadows of vulnerability were illuminated, allowing for an open exchange about challenges faced in their artistic journeys. What had once felt solitary now emerged as a shared endeavor. However, amidst the warmth, a flicker of hesitation still nagged at the back of Lily's mind. What if this was merely a fleeting moment of bravery? What if fear crept back in, leaving her feeling exposed once more? As they finished their coffee, a revelation sparked within her. Art could not be divorced from the truth she embodied, it was an extension of her very self. Feeling a relentless push toward growth, she asked, "Will you share your own work next time? I really want to see what you've created." Emily's expression turned contemplative, as if she were weighing her own vulnerabilities against the open invitation offered to her. Lily sat quietly, the atmosphere thick with possibility. Would her encouragement ignite a spark in Emily that mirrored her own? The implications cascaded through Lily's thoughts, the essence of artistic courage compelling her forward yet again. What would happen when they both stepped into the light, naked in their honesty, prepared to confront the world? The realization loomed before her, embracing fear was a collective journey. As they left the cafe, Lily understood the uncharted territory ahead of them was layered with potential. For the first time, she felt ready to take that bold leap, but the next question unfolded in her mind like an unsettling whisper. What untold stories would surface when both artists dared to confront their fears head-on? The following week, anticipation coursed through Lily's veins like electricity. She scheduled another meeting with Emily, but this time, the stakes felt even higher. It was no longer just about sharing her own work, it was about paving a path for Emily to step into her own creative arena. The honor and weight of that responsibility pressed down on her, vibrating with potential. In her studio, prepping to explore that day's emotions through her brushes, she caught herself staring at the freshly finished canvas assigned to that week. The bright colors could barely contain the rush of sentiments within her, but the new layers she wanted to add loomed, hauntingly unfinished. What if this courage pushed her to explore realms of creativity that she hadn't touched? Doubt ventured in like an ill-timed visitor. What qualifications did she hold that made her worthy of pushing Emily to expose her own vulnerabilities? While Lily had made strides in articulating her journey, she still grappled with insecurities of her own. Courage and vulnerability, a personal climb, not a guided hike. Determined to outpace those fears, she dove into her day, contemplating how much further she could go. As she prepared for the meeting, she prioritized grounding herself in her truth. Every brushstroke on the canvas reflected another layer of her story, a conversation she had yet to fully decipher, and now, she planned to dissect it further during their discussion. Arriving at the cafe, a blend of nervous excitement mingled in the air. Emily's warm smile when she entered momentarily lifted the weight pressing on Lily's shoulders. They exchanged pleasantries, but the atmosphere bristled with unspoken thoughts. How had Emily fared? What was hiding beneath her surface? "Thanks for coming back," Emily said, genuine warmth illustrating each syllable. "You have no idea how much I appreciated our last talk." The words lodged in Lily's throat. The conversation from their last meeting had propelled her to greater heights, and now, she wanted to reciprocate that encouragement. But what if Emily was still mired in her own insecurities? Interrupting Lily's thoughts, Emily leaned across the table, concern flickering across her features. "You seem a bit off today. What's on your mind?" Lily inhaled deeply, her pulse racing. "I was thinking about our next steps, about sharing your work," she ventured, gauging Emily's reaction. Emily's gaze dropped, collecting shadows instead of comfort. "I don't know, Lily. It's one thing to put my struggles into words, it's a different ball game to display them openly, especially for someone else to dissect it. You have no idea how hard it is." Self-doubt curled around her like fog. "Perhaps, but isn't that the beauty of it?" Lily countered, her voice catching the faint echoes of courage she mustered previously. "Art can be both terrifying and liberating. Maybe we can unlock something together. That's what I felt when I painted my last piece." The surrender of honesty resounded, igniting the spark they had cultivated together. Emily's guarded demeanor started cracking, slowly revealing the vulnerability that had always brewed beneath the surface. "What if," Emily paused, words trapped between apprehension and expectation, "what if I show you something I've been working on? It isn't ready, but it's my heart on a page." A wave of adrenaline surged through Lily. Here was the moment where their paths could intertwine even more deeply. Not only could Emily share her fears, but they could journey through discovery together. Let us do it. We can help each other navigate it. That's what this is all about. As their conversation flowed, Lily felt the vibrant connection they had sparked solidifying into something transformative. Both artists poised on the brink of vulnerability, ready to unveil the layers they had artfully wrapped around themselves. However, beneath the pulse of excitement lingered that familiar shadow of self-doubt once more. What if the unveiling of these layers invited criticism that would threaten their creative boundaries? The tension within her grew thick as she realized that the act of stepping into the light presented its own complexities, a battle of dismantling fear to reshape their truth. Emerging from the cafe, the fading sunlight caressed their skin. Lily's heart raced with exhilaration intertwined with apprehension. The journey they were about to embark on could either fortify their connection or disrupt their sense of self. Are you truly ready for this? Lily whispered as they reached the street corner, eyes locking with Emily's, a silent understanding passing between them. Let us find out, came the determined reply, a promise held within the syllables. But as Lily walked into the night, her thoughts wandered. What unmasked truths would surface when the embrace of illumination mixed with unfamiliar shadows? The tension weighed heavily, preparing her for the battle of exposure that lay ahead. The days that followed were a blend of exhilaration and self-imposed pressure. Each moment spent with Emily was no longer solely about art. It had become a crucible, testing not only Emily's potential but also Lily's ability to mentor, to push past her own walls of fear. In that delicate dance, as they navigated their mutual vulnerabilities, Lily discovered something about herself, a deep connection to the act of creation, a tether to her own formative years. Friday approached, and both artists were slated to meet at the gallery where a small showcase of local talents was to take place. Lily envisioned this venue as a perfect stage for Emily's unveiling. She spent the morning in her studio, surrounded by half-finished canvases, vibrant colors competing for her attention, yet her mind was solely focused on Emily. How would unveiling her piece change Emily's connection to her own artistry? As thoughts flooded her, a chilling realization washed over her. What if Emily's work did not resonate? That uncertainty felt like an anchor pulling Lily down into an abyss of doubt. She caught herself pacing, the brushes resting silently against their canvas. Would her own artistic journey inform Emily's? Or would it merely highlight what remained unseen? Pushing the thoughts aside, Lily committed to a strategy instead of succumbing to fear. She meticulously planned the layout for their joint presentation, considering how each piece would speak to the other, like a conversation that danced between the two artists. By framing Emily's work within the context of their shared experiences, perhaps she could illuminate the struggles and strengths both had encountered. When the day of the showcase arrived, the gallery thrummed with energy. Artists, patrons, and critics milled about, drinks in hand, laughter echoing against the walls adorned with art. Yet amid the bustle, Lily felt a profound stillness around Emily and herself. They prepared together, unraveling the layers of uncertainty in shared breaths and silent encouragement. Are you ready for this? Lily's voice broke through the ambient noise. Emily nibbled her bottom lip, an act that screamed uncertainty. Not really, she admitted, but there was a spark of determination in her voice. Remember why we're here, Lily urged, feeling the weight of her own advice. This is about sharing our truth. As they approached their designated space, Lily's pulse quickened. The moment felt electric, charged with the potential for both triumph and turmoil. She hung Emily's piece first, positioning it strategically so that it would greet viewers the moment they entered the room. Titled Whispers of My Heart, it showcased raw emotions, layered strokes that conveyed fear, longing, and hope. As the room began to fill, Lily caught a glimpse of Emily standing, transfixed. Her eyes were glassy, reflecting the doubt that she had fought so hard to keep at bay. We're not just showing art, Lily said, stepping closer. We're sharing a part of ourselves. And believe me, it takes courage. In that moment, an unexpected surge of confidence flooded Lily. She understood that being present for Emily translated into confronting her own uncertainties. Each brushstroke shared loudly spoke of both their experiences. As the crowd turned their attention to Emily's piece, a profound silence enveloped the space. Lily noted every nuance, each subtle flicker of curiosity dancing across faces. It was not simply Emily's art on display, it was a shared journey, a testament to the courage it took to be vulnerable. But suddenly, a voice rang out, slicing through the reverence. A well-known critic in the community dismissed the piece with a careless critique, labeling it disjointed. A chill seized Lily. She felt the electricity of the room shift, uncertain of Emily's reaction. Would this moment shatter the fragile foundation they had built? Lily's heart raced, the air thick with tension. She turned to Emily, who seemed frozen, the spark of determination dimming. The battle between vulnerability and judgment was escalating before her eyes, and she knew the time had come for them to confront their greatest fears. "Stay with me," Lily urged, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Why should I?" Emily replied, the disappointment washing over her. "Because our art is our voice," Lily insisted. "Let us reclaim this moment together." As they locked eyes, both women began to find their footing again, standing on the precipice of revelation, prepared to embrace the chaos that surrounded them. Could they nurture their creativity through adversity, or would they allow a single critique to define their journey? The answer lingered in the air, thick and electric, as Lily clenched her fists against the rush of uncertainty threatening to drown them both. What would come next? Would they rise or fall in this moment of truth? But then, in the thick of uncertainty, Emily's eyes sparkled with a flicker of defiance. Seizing the moment, she turned towards the critic, her voice steady. "Disjointed isn't a flaw, it's a reflection of the chaos we've all felt. Art isn't meant to fit into boxes, it's about expressing the raw, sometimes jagged, journey we endure." Lily felt the tension in Emily's words reverberate through the gallery, empowering her. This confrontation was not just about one piece of art, it was a collective anthem against invisibility, a celebration of their shared truth. "Exactly," Lily interjected, stepping beside Emily, their solidarity evident. "Every brushstroke represents experiences we've faced pain, fear, but also hope. This is the first time we have dared to let our voices be heard, and there is beauty in that vulnerability." The audience's expressions began to shift, disbelief replaced with intrigue. A murmur ran through the crowd, their initial skepticism giving way to curiosity as they were drawn into the unfolding narrative. "Art invites dialogue," Emily continued, finding strength in Lily's unwavering presence. "And every story has its dissonance. Isn't that what makes us human?" The critic, momentarily taken aback, stuttered in acknowledgement. "Perhaps you have a point." Lily felt a swell of pride wash over her as she glanced at Emily. They were not only sharing their art but were reshaping the very space they occupied. As the moments passed, conversations sparked around them. People began to gather, drawn by Emily's passion. They engaged, asking questions about the technique, the stories behind individual layers, and expressing their resonance with the emotions portrayed. At that instant, Lily realized, they had turned the narrative around. The vulnerability that once felt like a burden now emerged as an indomitable strength, a pathway into connection and empathy. They were not just artists, they were storytellers, educators, and champions of their lives larger than themselves. As conversations unfolded, Lily felt her insecurities fall away. The secret fear that often clamored for acknowledgement had vanished. She had stepped into her role and was recognized not only as a creative force alongside Emily but as a collaborator deeply dedicated to the authenticity of their work. She emerged from the shadows of doubt, each dialogue nourished her sense of self-worth. "Look at them," she pointed out to Emily, who was glowing in her newfound confidence as patrons sought her insights into her art. "This is what we dreamed of, Emily. This is the power of sharing your truth with the world." Emily's smile lit her face, contrasting starkly against the earlier timidity that had clouded her spirit. "I never thought I would feel this way. You've pushed me to confront my fears." "You pushed me too," Lily admitted. "This is our growth." As the night drew on, the gallery transformed into a vibrant exchange of stories, imbued with sincerity and connection. Both women stood before an audience captivated not just by the colors on the canvas, but by the strength behind their creation, a culmination of bravery, resilience, and transformation. They had conquered their fears together. They had forged a bond capable of weathering the harshest storms. Lily surveyed the room, filled with excitement, pride, and a sense of belonging she had never quite felt before. This was the realization of their dream: to create, to connect, and to validate their own experiences. What had once been a daunting challenge was now a victory, a declaration of individual and shared achievement that resonated beyond the confines of art. They had proven that vulnerability could unravel into strength, that art could heal, and that their stories mattered. As they shared a triumphant hug amidst the celebration, both felt an overwhelming surge of fulfillment, a resolution to their journey. They had risen to the occasion, challenging not just the world around them, but the depths of their own identities, stepping into a vibrant future where their aspirations could soar. "I'm ready for whatever comes next," Emily whispered as they basked in the moment. "And I'm right beside you," Lily assured, knowing that they had created something profound together. Now, it is your turn to embrace transformation. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. This truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share.